Peace. As you know, November is Native American Heritage Month, and each time there are stories I could bring to you. And no, I am not Native American. But as you can see here, this is called Fascinating Photos of Chiefs and Warriors of the Sioux Tribe. And here in the screenshots is Sioux Native Americans, how they were dressed during the time when they first came to America or was in America, but this is what they wore. The Sioux are one of the many Native American nations that lived in the Great Plains. There are many smaller tribes united in the Sioux Tribe and are often referred to as the Seven Council Fires. So the Sioux Indians were the many Native American nations. They did live on in the Great Plains. Um, there are many smaller tribes united in the Sioux Tribe and are often referred to as the Seven Council Fires. So there were seven council fires during that time. They were all known for their hunting and warrior culture and for fighting fiercely against the U.S. Army. In the past, they lived on the territory of North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Montana, Illinois, and Nebraska. So there was hunting. They were also known for their warrior culture. They were also known for fighting fiercely against the U.S. Army. They lived on the territory of North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Montana, Illinois, and Nebraska. So that's where they all had lived at. And as you can see here is a screenshot of the Sioux Indian land that you can see with the teepees, the Native Americans, and that. Blackfoot Standing Bear, Big Eagle, photographer Frank A. Reinhardt, followed by Boston Public Library, and as you can see here, you got Big Blackfoot, Standing Bear, and Big Eagle. Here's another screenshot of a Sioux Indian. Chief Bone Necklace, an Oglala Lakota from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in 1899. So this is from 1899 of how the Sioux Indian was dressed at that turning point. Here's another one. Afraid of the Bear Ma Tukokepa. So this is who he is. So you can see how his culture and clothes were and everything else. The war for their homeland began in the 17th century when Frenchman Jean Duluth moved into their territory and occupied their land. In that fight for their land, there were some notable Indian chiefs and warriors who exceeded in their bravery and wisdom. Some of the most famous names were Sitting Bull, Red Cloud, Longhorn, Flying Hawk, Crazy Horse, and Spotted Elk. So there were some pretty famous chiefs during that time. And of course, Sitting Bull, but Sitting Bull had traded the land for liquor, and so this is why now the I don't want to use the term white because then it would be in a difficult situation, but I would say pale Caucasian people had took over their land. So this is why you can never really understand too much why, but I do try to learn. And of course, Red Cloud, Longhorn, Flying Hawk, Crazy Horse, and Spotted Elk, these were all chiefs and warriors. Thanks to photography, their portraits remain with us to this day to remind us of their history, struggle, and love for their home. There are many names that deserve to be on the list, but here are some of the most essential characters of the history of the Native Americans. So they do deserve to be on the list. They need to be on the list. People need to know about the Native Americans. This is why a lot of them are not on the list because, they get lost and everything else. So it's also thanks to photography, their portraits remain with us to this day to remind us of their history. So we are reminded of their history, their struggles and love for their home. So they go through a lot of struggle just like we do. And the love for their home, yes, they love their home like we do. One of the most important leaders of the Sioux Indian tribe was Chief Red Cloud, war leader who became an important part of history for fighting in the battle between the U.S. government and the Native Americans during the 19th century. He is almost known for his 2-year-long standing opposition to the Bozeman Trail through the territory of Montana, a period known as Red Cloud's War. So Red Cloud's War was one of the 19th century thing going on. Of course, there was important leaders of the Sioux Indian tribe, which was Chief Red Cloud, war leader who became an important part of history for fighting in the battle between the U.S. government and the Native Americans. So they had it out. They were fighting with the U.S. government because, the U.S. government was taking over their land and the Native Americans were not going to put up with it, so they had to fight them. And of course, this happened during the 19th century. He is almost known for his 2-year-long standing opposition to the Bozeman trial through the territory of Montana, a period known as Red Cloud's War. So Red Cloud had the war against the U.S. government. As you can see, here's another screenshot of the Native American, what they were wearing. Lost medicine, Wenken Ye Kia, One Se Papa Sioux. So this is another Sioux Indian that we don't know about. So this is something new right here to me. And as you can see here, Whirling Hawk, a Sioux Indian from Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. So this is another chief Native American. This is Whirling Hawk. Shooting Pieces, a Sioux Indian from Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. So this is Shooting Pieces. And as you can see, his culture, the clothes that he's wearing. And this is all back during the time from decades ago. Here's Sammy Lone Bear, a Sioux Indian from Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. This one, his name is Sammy Lone Bear. As you can see, here are the clothes that he was wearing during the time. Sammy Lone Bear, a Sioux Indian from Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. So here's another shot of him, a screenshot of him, of what he was wearing. Kills Close to the Lodge, a Sioux Indian from Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. So Kills Close to the Lodge must be an Indian tribe name that he picked for himself, or they just call him that. Another famous member of the Sioux Tribe was Sitting Bull, a Hunkpapa Lakota leader and medicine man who also led his people during years of resistance to United States government policies. He is remembered for defeating the federal troops under George Armstrong Custer in the 1876 Battle of the Little Bighorn. So, Sitting Bull was another famous member of the Sioux Tribe, a Hunkpapa Lakota leader and medicine man who also led his people during years of resistance to United States government policies. So they were not going to listen to the United States government policies. They were going to do whatever they wanted to do, and sure enough, they did. So this is why they were resisting them. He is remembered for defeating the federal troops under George Armstrong Custer in the 1876 Battle of the Little Bighorn. So, yeah, so he is remembered for defeating the federal troops under George Armstrong Custer. So, whatever it was, that was about, it was something. Crazy Horse was a celebrated warrior, the son of an Oglala Sioux shaman, known for his resistance against the plain removal to a reservation in the Black Hills. So Crazy Horse was also another Sioux Indian tribe. Crazy Horse was a celebrated warrior, the son of an Oglala Sioux shaman. He stood in the center of many decisive battles, bringing a great victory to the Lakota tribe in defeating Captain William J. Fetterman and his 80 men, embarrassing the U.S. military. So the U.S. military was embarrassing because they were defeated. He stood in the center of many decisive battles as well. Flying Hawk was also an Oglala Sioux warrior, philosopher, educator, and historian. Besides his courage, Flying Hawk remains known for his written records of the Battle of the Little Bighorn and the Wounded Knee Massacre, reportedly in the period from 1898 to 1940. He traveled throughout the territory of Europe and America, presenting and spreading the authenticity of the Lakota's culture. So Flying Hawk was also another one. He was a Sioux warrior, philosopher, and educator, and historian, all into, because he has done a lot of things in his life. Besides his courage, Flying Hawk remains known for his written records of the Battle of the Little Bighorn and the Wounded Knee Massacre. So that's what he was also known for. And as you can see, here is Joe Black Fox, a Sioux Indian from Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. So this is what he looked like back then. Here's Joe Black Fox, a Sioux Indian. This is what he did. And now did we ever know the Sioux Indians smoking cigarettes back then? No, but as you can see here in the screenshot is a Sioux Indian holding a cigarette in his hand. And of course here's Joe Black Fox again with his costume that he's dressed up in. Here's a screenshot. This one is Iron White Man, a Sioux Native American from Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. So he was called Iron White Man. And as you can see, here's his costume outfit that he was wearing during that time. This one is Flying Hawk, Sioux Native. Excuse me. This one is Flying Hawk, Sioux American Indians. So this is who Flying Hawk was back then. Chief Little Wound, Oglala Sioux, photographed in Washington, D.C. in 1877. So this is what he looked like, and as you can see, the feather dressing that he has, it comes down to the ground. And of course, all the details on his costume that he was wearing. Chief Goes to War, Chief Hollow, Horn Bear, Sioux, studio portrait photographed by Frank A. Reinhardt, photo by Boston Public Library, CC by 2.0, and of course you got Chief Goes to War and Chief Hollow Horn Bear. So these two are another Sioux Native Americans. Afraid of Eagle. This one is called Afraid of Eagles. So you can see the feathers and all the dressing that he has back then. Unfortunately, despite the effort and courage of all these wise and brave men, the Sioux Indian tribe, just like most of the Native Americans, were forced away from their homelands. So the Sioux Indians, they were forced away from their homelands, just like most of the Native Americans. They were not allowed to live on their land at all. But today, some of the Native Americans do live on their land because the government is forcing them to stay, and they can't even make up their minds. Either make them stay on their land or just force them away from their family. So it's everything is all over the place. However, to this day, this tribe shines in its glory of the past days, leaving a strong mark on the American history and culture. Today, there are three main groups of the Sioux Indian tribe, including Dakota, Nakota, and Lakota. So there's the only three tribes that are today. There's the Dakota, Nakota, and Lakota. So those are the only three that we know of today. However, to this day, this tribe shines in its glory of the past days. So they left a strong mark on American history and culture. So that's what they have done. They left everything, leaving a lot of strong marks on their American history and culture. So this way, other Native Americans can learn about them as well. Leave your comments below. I am out.